Welcome to the Motocross Network and welcome to a new weekly segment called Race Review. We intend on doing this every weekend for Supercross, Pro Motocross, and of course MXGP. If you guys have any feedback after the video, please let us know in the comments down below. This weekly race review, along with all other news updates, will be posted on YouTube, of course, with video, and will also now be posted on Spotify or wherever you get podcasts. So please go check that out. All right, let's get into this race review, starting with Atlanta Supercross, of course. So in the first 250 heat race, Haiden Deegan shocked us all again, pulled the whole shot, led for a couple laps, actually, and started pulling. But then, obviously, he crashed out. I don't have a clip for that, but you guys all most likely saw it. It looked like he scrubbed the jump a little too hard, causing him to kick and go off the track. Hunter Lawrence, obviously, was a benefactor via consistency. He rode a consistent race. Deegan crashed out. Hands it to Hunter Lawrence. Now, Tom Vialle also showed his strength, finishing behind Lawrence in second place. I'm actually really surprised with Tom Vialle. I mean, he's never touched Supercross in his life, and he comes over here and runs top 3, top 5 every weekend. And then the rookie, Talon Hawkins, finished ahead of Deegan, actually, in third. Deegan finished fourth, so that was pretty impressive for Hawkins. Let's move on to 250 Heat Race 2. Nate Thrasher continues to show his speed. He won the race. Obviously, he had the torn ACL, so this is really impressive. Jordan Smith had that little comeback of sorts, finishing second in there. Obviously, back in Detroit, the Deegan-Smith incident happened, and he didn't even make the main event, which was not good for him, I'm assuming. Then the retiree, the guy who came out of retirement, Chris Blose, filling in on Pro Circuit Kawasaki. I mean, come on, 5th place? That's pretty good for a 35-year-old 250 rider. All right, let's move on to 450 Heat 1. Adam Cianciarulo pulled the whole shot and led early, but Cooper Webb caught up to him and pushed Cianciarulo a little too hard. Adam crashed really hard in the whoops. I believe I have a clip for that, so I'll play it now. So yeah, Cooper Webb won after battling slightly with Roczen. Roczen got pretty aggressive, but never really caught up to Webb. The big surprise in this heat race for me was Josh Hill. 3rd place for this guy. That's, like, unbelievable. I haven't seen him up that far in a long time. Then Benny Bloss and Freddie Noren actually surprised me. They're normally guys on the edge of making it, maybe in the LCQ, and they finished 7th and 8th, which is stronger than usual. Moving on to 450 Heat 2. Justin Barcia pulls the whole shot and battles with Anderson from that point on. Anderson obviously got the best of Barcia, but towards the end of the race, Jason Anderson jumped off the track, and I guess he gained time or some ridiculous AMA rule. I don't know. Anderson technically won the race, but they gave him a penalty, so they gave the win to Bam Bam. I don't even know yet. They don't have a penalty report out, so I can't say anything on that. Then the second Hill brother, Justin Hill, coming out of retirement this year, and look at 5th place in this heat race. I mean, come on. That's pretty incredible, just behind Tomac. But the top 3 guys were way ahead of Tomac. They were 8 seconds ahead of Tomac, and Tomac was 7 more seconds ahead of Justin Hill. So that's a huge gap. And then the big surprise of this heat race was Aaron Plessinger didn't qualify. Now, I didn't actually catch what happened to him. I know he was behind from early in the race. I don't know exactly what happened. I'm assuming crash or something. But yeah, he didn't qualify. He had to be forced into the LCQ. Now let's look at the 250 LCQ. Cody Schock won. He pulled the whole shot and really just ran away from there. It was never really close. Schock won. But the close battle was for the final transfer spot. AJ Catanzaro and Hardy Munoz were fighting almost the entire race for this transfer spot. About half the race, Hardy Munoz had it, but Catanzaro pushed and pushed and pushed right towards the end. Final lap, final turn in the whoop section, and Hardy Munoz got pushed just hard enough to fall over, and Catanzaro got the final transfer. Now the 450 LCQ, Aaron Plessinger was in there, obviously. He won by like 30 seconds. He shouldn't have been in there. Cade Clayson, Marquier, and Lesher on a 2-stroke actually qualified in. Now, Lesher wouldn't have qualified if it weren't for John Short coming in with a kill shot and Joanne Kraus. Kraus was looking good. I think he was running second for most of the LCQ, and John Short just came in like a bullet, cutting in front of 2 or 3 guys and just slamming into Kraus, knocking them both over. So yeah, neither of them qualified. All right, moving on to the 250 main event. Haiden Deegan, early lead yet again. He ended up falling back to 3rd place throughout the race. Tom Viall looked good again, but Tom Viall crashed. There isn't an injury update as of the time of recording this, but I think it's believed he's fine. Hunter Lawrence almost went down when he was in the lead. It was really close, but he ended up staying consistent after that. Won the race. Nate Thrasher, looking good again. He was battling with Deegan for a podium position. Unfortunately, he crashed out. Not an update on him as of the time I'm recording this. Club MX rider Jeremy Martin crashed out too throughout the race. I didn't see the crash. I haven't heard an update. That'll probably be in an injury update video later this week. Jordan Smith, the comeback. I love this. After the Detroit incident, I'm sure he got in trouble for not making the main event. I mean, he's supposed to be a title contender. But he ended up finishing 2nd place and also on the podium announced that he had a sprained ankle. So he was riding injured. Pretty impressive. Joe Shimoda I want to talk about. I mean, he's been out for 6 months. Most likely not training for most of that. And he comes out swinging, climbing from the back of the pack, finishing 4th place. That's pretty impressive. And the final guy I want to talk about in the 250 main was Talon Hawkins. Again, rookie, young kid, finished 8th. That's not too bad. I mean, he's obviously not Deegan, but Talon Hawkins is looking pretty fast as well. All right, 450 main event. Chase Sexton gets it done finally. No mistakes. Smooth the entire race. He qualified first. I think he got 3rd in the heat race. Not too bad. He gets out in the lead early after he passed Roczen, I believe, right off the start, and he just ran. He never made a mistake. It was perfect. Chase Sexton. If he was like this every weekend, it wouldn't even be close in the championship. But yeah, Sexton finally gets it done. Justin Barcia inching closer to a win. I mean, this guy is really fast this year. He's very consistent as well, and he got 2nd place. I believe he could have gotten 1st, but Sexton was too smooth. No mistakes. Ken Roczen, obviously, back on the podium. Fast and no mistakes. This is good for Kenny. I think he looks better on the motocross style tracks with the Suzuki. I think the really tight tracks he's struggling on, but obviously they're working out the bike complete changes every week almost. Now let's talk about Cooper Webb and Eli Tomac. They're supposed to be the title contenders, and they were battling in the boondocks the entire race for like 4th and 5th. What happened? I mean, obviously Cooper Webb wasn't happy. He swore in a post-race interview, which I'm pretty sure you get fined for, but I'm not sure. But yeah, Webb was wicked angry. I don't know what happened with those two, but Tomac and Webb were kind of off all day. Jason Anderson, I don't know what happened to him. He did great in the heat race, obviously, and then the main event, he pulled off. I don't think he got hurt. I believe he pulled out of the race, so I don't know what happened with that. No update as of the time recording this. Aaron Plessinger, what a comeback. Not qualifying, going to the LCQ, winning, and he ended up coming to 6th place in the main event. I mean, that's not peak Plessinger, but 6th place is still pretty good. Adam Cianciarulo finished 7th. Not too bad. I mean, he looked really good in the heat race, but obviously that crash and the uppercut he got from those handlebars, I didn't think he'd make it at all. So Atlanta Supercross was crazy for sure. Lots of cool things happened. Congrats to Sexton for finally getting it done. At the moment of recording, obviously, I don't have the injury updates to give, but once I do, I will make a YouTube news update video for you guys. I might post a long-form one on Spotify as well. But all right, let's fly overseas to Trentino, Italy for the MXGP World Championship that happened this morning. All right, MX2 Race 1, Jago Geerts, points leader for MX2 class, pulled the whole shot, led early. Andrea Adamo was really fast today, consistent. He finished 2nd in that race. He had some struggles with Liam Everts, but he held him off. Liam Everts finished 3rd, looking good as well. He was able to hold off Kai de Wolf. Kai de Wolf was looking really, really fast as well, but he made a lot of mistakes, ended up finishing 4th. But overall, MX2 Race 1 was not too eventful. Move on to MXGP Race 1. Jorge Prado, points leader, pulls a whole shot, early lead, ended up winning the race. He just kind of smooth, consistent, led the whole race. There was a first turn pileup, which assisted in that. Jeffrey Herlings, Romain Fevre, Jeremy Sewer, And a few more guys were in that first turn pileup, started in dead last. But with that being said, they opened it up for some privateer and slower guys. These guys are usually top 10, top 20 maybe guys. Valentin Guillard, Ben Watson on the new beta bike, Benoit Patrel, they were all up front. They were running 3rd, 4th, 5th. That's pretty crazy. Herlings ended up going from last place to the top 10. I believe it was 9th he finished, so that was pretty impressive on Herlings' part. Maxime Renault rode a relatively smooth race, running 2nd for almost all of it. Or I believe 3rd, but he ended up making it 2nd, so that was pretty good for him. Ruben Fernandez was in 2nd for most of the race, not Renault. Fernandez was. He ended up falling to 3rd in the last few laps when Renault passed him. All right, let's look at MX2 Race 2. Jago Geerts had a horrible start for this one. For his standards, he normally hole shots. I think he came out 4th or 5th, but within the first lap, he was running 4th and he crashed out. So he had to climb from like 20th place. He ended up finishing 3rd overall on the day. Not too bad for the points leader. Simon Langenfelder was the guy who led early. He ended up having a smooth race. No real contention. Won. Now, there was a battle for the top 3, though. Thibaut Benestant on the Yamaha, Andrea Adamo KTM, and obviously Liam Everts KTM. They were all fighting almost the entire race for that top 3. Andrea Adamo ended up getting the best of them. Finished 2nd. He didn't really have a chance to catch up to Langenfelder, but he finished 2nd, which was good enough to earn his first overall GP win. Liam Everts fought hard to stay in 3rd. Ended up getting 2nd overall, which is, I believe, one of the first times he's been on the podium, so that was pretty impressive. It was the first time for him being on the podium on Red Bull KTM, at least. That was pretty awesome to watch. Alrighty, MXGP Race 2. Jorge Prado hole shots yet again. Early lead. Romain Fevre got a great start as well, especially compared to Race 1, laying in the first turn. But he ended up falling back throughout the race. I believe he finished in 5th. Jeffrey Herlings started in 10th, so not a good start again, but he ended up climbing throughout the entire race, ended up catching up to Jorge Prado and Renault. Prado was still in the lead. Maxime Renault caught up to him, so it was Herlings, Renault, Prado, all within a second, running for the battle for the lead. Herlings ended up doing what he did back in MXGP of Sardinia a few weeks ago and passed Renault, and within a corner or two, passed Prado for the lead. So yeah, Herlings won the second race, but he had a horrible start in the first, or a horrible finish in the first one. So Prado finished 3rd, which was good enough for him to win the GP overall. Maxime Renault was wicked consistent, going second for 2nd overall. So overall, the podium being Prado, Renault, Herlings. Lots of great battles in there. Renault's looking pretty consistent now, especially after last week's win. You can expect him to be a title contender. But what a race weekend. There were a lot of battles, a lot of crashes, some penalties mixed in there. There is talks of a penalty on Jorge Prado, but it's unconfirmed at the moment. As of now, we don't have many details regarding that or injuries. So throughout the week, maybe tomorrow or Tuesday, we'll provide you an update on either penalties in Supercross and MXGP or injuries. So I'll let you guys know about that. But thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Go to Spotify. Let's get this blown up just like our YouTube is. Thank you all for listening. See you in next week's race review.